Hey everybody, Andy Kvernen here with another Cornerstone Connection Daily Devotional. Do you ever remember when you were in high school, that feeling as an underclassman when the seniors graduated? How's this going to work? How's the school going to function? How's a football team ever going to win a game without all of our seniors? How's the music? Who's going to play the lead in the musical? Who's going to be in the choir? All these things. I remember feeling that way as a high school kid, watching the generation that had gone before me go off into the next phase of their lives. And as we've been talking about on the Bible reading plan, here we have Joshua, who's leading the people into the promised land. Joshua is a fairly old man by now. It was 40 years earlier that he was one of 12 spies who went into the promised land from Kadesh Barnea to spy it out, and he's one of the 2 out of the 12 who came back with a favorable report. Thus, Joshua establishes himself as a man of faith. But for 40 years, he continues under the tutelage of Moses, this great leader of Israel, and now it comes time for Joshua to lead the people into the promised land. And of course, Moses has passed away. He's no more. He doesn't go into the promised land with them. And here's Joshua leading these people. And we get to Joshua chapter 5. And I have the sense that Joshua's going, okay, how's this going to work? The people that have gone before us aren't here. It's up to us now. And God does some cool things for Joshua. He does some cool things. First of all the people that were uncircumcised, that had not participated in the sign of the covenant after the original group that had gone into the wilderness, God says, hey, it's time. See, I had a plan for them. They actually chose not to obey me, and so they don't get to participate in it. But I do have a plan for your generation, and I want to give you the same sign that I gave them. And so all the males are circumcised here. And so they renew their commitment to God's covenant in that way. They also celebrate the Passover. They remember what God had done, and they institute Passover in the land. That's really cool. And then there's this really vivid, great episode that I want to read to you from Joshua chapter 5, verses 13 through 15. And I want you to see what the Lord is doing here for Joshua, for this new generation and this new leader of this generation. It says, when Joshua was by Jericho, he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, a man was standing before him with his drawn sword in his hand. And Joshua went to him and said to him, are you for us or for our adversaries? And he said, no, but I am the commander of the army of the Lord. Now I have come. Don't you love that? Here, this theophany, I think this is likely a theophany, God manifesting himself to Joshua, perhaps even the second person of the Trinity, Jesus. Either way, here's this representative of God, maybe God himself, who comes to Joshua, and Joshua's floored, and he sees the dangerous situation that he's in. Friends, God's holiness emanates from this angel of the Lord. And so here Joshua looks up and he goes, are you for us or are you for our adversaries? What side are you on? I got to know, because if you're not on our side, I am taking off. I'm terrified. But I love how this angel of the Lord answers, this man that was standing before him with drawn sword, this theophany. He said, no. Joshua says, are you for us or against us? The man says, no. He says, no, I'm for you. No, not I'm against. No, I'm independent of you. But watch this. But I am the commander of the army of the Lord, and now I have come. And Joshua does the only thing that you can do when God shows up at your doorstep. It says Joshua fell on his face to the earth and worshipped him, saying, okay, I see you're not obligated to me, and you're not obligated to our enemy. What do you want from me? What do you want me to do? Because you're the one in charge here. That's a great response when God shows up. And then the commander of the Lord's army, verse 15, said to Joshua, take off your sandals from your feet, for the place where you are standing is holy. And Joshua did so. Friends, does that last verse remind you of anything? Back in Exodus chapter 3, God showed up to Moses in a burning bush, and he said to Moses, take your sandals off, for you're on holy ground. Here, God says the same thing to Joshua. Take your sandals off. You're on holy ground. And just as I did for Moses, I will do for you. I will be with you. I will go with you. You can trust me. Yes, this is a new generation. Yes, there are some new responsibilities. I want you to go into the land and take over, conquer the enemies, vanquish them. Their time for judgment has come. And I called you to do this, Joshua. But the key thing is still the key thing. It's me that's going to supply the power. That's what God says to Joshua. Friend, maybe you're in a situation in life where you're wondering, is God going to show up in the same way for me as he did for my parents? Or maybe, is God going to show up the same way for me as he did for my mentor, the person that led me to Jesus? For our church, the way it used to be? Is God still going to show up in our present and in our future? Friends, I'm confident that God does what God desires, not because I'm anything special or you're anything particularly special, although you're really special, but you know what I mean, right? He does what he does because he supplies the goods. He supplies the power. And the God who's worked in the past is the God who's working in the present, and the God in whom we can trust to work in the tomorrow. Friends, let's trust him together. Joshua did, and look what happens. Jericho goes down soon, and God will do what he'll do through us as well. We can trust him today. God bless you, friends. Have a great day. And Lord willing, we'll see you again soon on the Cornerstone Connection.